fourth grade, welcome back. I'm so glad that you all are here. Today we're going to continue working on inferring in poetry. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Just like the other few days, you don't need anything but to focus on the screen ahead. I am going to pull up a poem today from Common Lit, the website. You do not need to go to that website and pull it up unless you would like to have it on your own screen. That's fine, but I will have it on my screen as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you now. And so like I said, we're going to continue making inferences in poetry. And we have our friend Bookie here today.
Miss Wozniak, I am so glad you are here. I have a great joke. I was waiting to tell you and these awesome fourth graders. Why did the teddy bear say he did not want dessert?
I don't know.
Because he was stuffed.
Oh,
man, that was good.
He is just so goofy.
Miss Wozniak,
so goofy, I wanted to play him again. All right, guys, so like we were talking about yesterday, when we make inferences in poetry, we take evidence from the text and put it together with what we already know to draw those conclusions or make our inferences. So when we infer, we think, what are the clues the text is telling me in the words and pictures? And what do I already know about the topic? So when you guys are practicing those riddle poems, you became real good about pulling that background knowledge in so that you could make those inferences. So we're going to take a look at this short cartoon. I'm not going to stop it today. You can just kind of watch it through, and at the end we'll talk about some of the inferences that maybe you had as you were watching, and I'll share some that I had while I was watching. So although there were no words in that film, you were able to make a lot of inferences about what the two characters were trying to do. They were trying to catch the rabbit, and we could infer that one of the characters was using smaller things, and he was trying to catch them with the trap, and the other character was using the bigger traps and the more carrots, and he was a little more well equipped than the other guy. So let's go ahead and take a look at our poem for today. And you might have had different inferences as you were watching, which is fine. Bookie's back. Let's see what he has to say.
Miss Wozniak, I have a question. I read this poem, and I was wondering what a jalopy is.
Oh, Bookie, that's a great question. We are going to read to find out what a jalopy is. So,
Miss Wozniak, I have a question.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the story Poppy's Jalopy, and this is the one that's on Common Lit that I'm going to go ahead and pull up right here. So this is called Poppy's Jalopy, and if you take a look at the first line, it says Poppy's Jalopy is older than dirt, and if we click right here, it tells us it's an old car. So a jalopy is an old car. So I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, and then you can pull it up on Common Lit to read it to yourself if you'd like, or you can just listen to me. So Poppy's Jalopy is older than dirt. The bumper's all busted, the squirter won't squirt. The passenger door's tied shut down with brown twine, but I can climb through the window and get in just fine. It's missing a hood, the trunk doesn't close, but the dice have some fuzz, and the horn sort of blows. It's rusty and dusty, our trusty jalopy, just perfect for trips made by me and my Poppy. Poppy sticks in the key, shifts into gear, turns the big wooden wheel that he uses to steer. We chug down the lane through the sleepy old town, past the thank you for visiting sign that fell down. The wide highway from all that we know to places that Poppy and I want to go. We drive out to see Niagara Falls, and whether Old Faithful is faithful at all. Loop the loop in the canyon, it really is grand. Drive deep in the jungle, get stuck in quicksand. Do a dinosaur dig among red desert rocks, tailgate some camels round pyramid blocks. Wake a volcano, find the lost city twice. Ride an iceberg ferry and oceans of ice. Drive till north becomes south. Then we're headed back down. Take a left at the fork and we're home in our town. Poppy's jalopy is battered and worn. The rusty's paint's chipped. The leather is torn. For years it's been sitting behind the woodshed. The tires are flat. The motor is dead. It's rusty and dusty, our trusty jalopy, just right for those trips made by me and my Poppy. Adventures galore, all in one afternoon. Tomorrow we're planning to swing by the moon. So let's go back up and let's think about some of the inferences we made as we were reading. So the very first stanza talks about his jalopy and how it's missing all of these things. So he does a good job of describing what the car looks like. And down here, he says, just perfect for trips made by me and my Poppy. So we can infer, because right now he's describing how it's missing a hood and you have to climb through the window to get in. So the car is pretty busted. But then down here, he uses the word perfect, just perfect for trips made by me and my Poppy. So if he's saying that it's perfect for the trips, we can infer that the author enjoys those trips with his Poppy and must go on them a lot in the old car. It doesn't say that he enjoys the trips, but we know by reading and thinking about our background knowledge that we can infer that he does enjoy those trips with Poppy. In this second stanza right here, it says, Poppy sticks in the key, shifts it into gear, turns the big wooden wheel that he uses to steer. We chug down the lane through the sleepy old town, past the thank you for visiting sign that fell down. The ride the wide highway from all that we know to places that Poppy and I want to go. So let's take a look at this line. We chug down the lane through the sleepy old town. So a sleepy old town. Let's take a second and think about what he means by sleepy old town. What can we infer as a sleepy old town? We can take our background knowledge of sleepy and old town. So it must be a place where not much is happening, right? And he's describing it as a sign fell down, but he says that from all that we know to places that Poppy and I want to go. So he's going through all of these places that aren't so pretty, but they're going together to a place that they get to spend time together. So we can infer that he enjoys the trips, even though they're not always so beautiful. We can infer that he's enjoying the time spent with his Poppy. So then we go down to this next stanza, and he talks about driving to see Niagara Falls and all the wonderful things that he has done in the car, right? And then we go down here, and we see Poppy's jalopy is battered and worn. The rusty paint's chipped, the leather is torn. For years it's been sitting behind the wood shed. So it's sitting behind the wood shed, so that means for years they haven't taken a trip. The tires are flat, the motor is dead. It's rusty and dusty, our trusty jalopy, just right for those trips made by me and my Poppy. So we can infer, since it's been sitting behind the woodshed and the tires are flat, obviously it hasn't gone anywhere. So he hasn't been on any trips with his Poppy lately. It doesn't say he hasn't been on any trips, but we can infer because the tires are flat. And we know with our background knowledge, when the tires are flat, the car can't be driven. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to here. So today we took a look at Poppy's Jalopy, and we made some great inferences as we read that poem. I encourage you to go back and reread that poem and see if you can come up with even more inferences that you made while you were reading. And again, I hope that you're practicing making these inferences as you're reading your independent reading book at home, or when you're watching TV, or just in everyday life. It was great seeing you guys today. I will see you again tomorrow. What are you doing?